Welcome back to another video, guys. I'm sorry if my voice sounds weird, but I'm recovering from a bad cough, so bear with me. This time I'm showing some PvP footage from when I played the Great Triceratops mod. I absolutely love this as a solo player, and it can stand up to even the biggest of bullies. There are some older clips in here, as I really didn't want to delete them because there are some pretty good fights in there. These are from about May this year, and they'll go in date order, with the final fight in the video being recorded towards the end of October. Of course, there will be another video as I have lots more footage. Unfortunately, a lot of the older replays don't work anymore, as some contain mods that aren't around at the moment, or unfortunately have been lost to us for good. So for this video I won't be able to do any of the nifty little intros for my opponents, although if I can I will do them for the next video, where the replays are more recent and should work. Now, as I did with Allosaurus, I'll pop up on screen the stats for the trike in the Apex Killers server. Like I said, this dino can stand up to a lot. Just how much will be revealed in this video. So I wanted to start this video out on a different note. The first clip I have isn't PvP. I found this amongst the other footage and decided to try and see if the replay worked, which strangely enough it did, considering it was the oldest one. I wanted to include this because it's a wholesome interaction from when my trike was only a baby, and because the Griffin mod is now lost to us. The maker of the Griffin has unfortunately retired from modding in Path, mainly due to the huge toxicity problem in the community. These developers spend hundreds of hours and a lot of money making us stuff for free. Not every mod will be your cup of tea, which is fine. But there's a line between constructive criticism and just pure hate. And the sheer amount of vile people in this community that have crossed that line is upsetting and heartbreaking. We've already lost a lot of these beautiful creations. Let's not lose any more. This is why this little piece of footage is precious to me now. Thank you to all the mod devs out there for your hard work, and I'm sorry you have to put up with such hate. Support the mod teams. It's not hard to be kind. Amongst the trickle of water and the chirp of sleepy insects in Young Grove, I heard the sound of a pack roaming around. You might remember the ex-Argilla Allosaurus. This particular creature is gone for now, but not forever. It's still being worked on as we speak. Sure enough, they were out for a hunt. These narrow areas, however, would work to my advantage, as one got stuck on a tree. One thing I forgot to mention is sometimes the calls don't play for the trike, so if you see the animations with no sound, then that's why. This next fight lasted a good long while. I'm not quite sure what this Giga's plan was here. Yeah, I fumbled that charge. If you press the button again, it cancels the charge, which is probably what I did here. The sharpened horns, I think, was more of a safety measure, but little did I know I was in for a long walk down of this Giga. I ever speed up the walking parts for you? Yeah, that was a hugely dumb decision on my part. This became a lot of me walking after them, I get bored and turn around, then they start following me again, rinse and repeat. Every time I stopped, they stopped. Every time I started walking again, so did they. Every time I turned, they turned. It was like I was dealing with a carnivorous reflection. Great Trike's two weaknesses are stamina and turning radius, the former of which I really feel the brunt of in this situation. That flesh graze won't do you much good if you try to tank my hits. I'm pretty sure that's a forecaul, but they were far from done. And yes, believe it or not, this little stare-off is sped up. Now here it looked like they just wanted to get past me, but looky here, they're turning and following again. And I decided to just keep walking after them, so we went on a nice little stroll. I saw a chance here and got a charge in with some decent hits. And our lovely little stroll through the woods led us to the top of Grand Plains Waterfall. Now the only thing lethal to me at this point was the knockback, which can come from either the tail attack or headbutt. I was very close to falling off after they died, but managed to keep my footing. At least I got my steps in for the day. Back to very old Grand Plains now, and 90% of the time you can't drink peacefully here. You saw the little jerk there. That made me jump even though I was braced for it. And that is probably the only time that I actually tried to use the stomp. Eventually I do get rid of it though. I was also testing the waters here, no pun intended, as I wasn't aware of how strong Trike was against Deinosuchus. What I learned from this fight, definitely don't face tank them. Here's a learning curve that I had to endure. These two Rexes were definitely wanting some trike steaks for dinner. I used sharpened horns way too late here, and I should have paired it with my vocal ability for more damage. I shouldn't have used my charge there either. The amount of damage this Rex is doing per bite is also kinda stupid, but what can you do? If I'd saved my charge, I probably would have killed the melanistic Rex, as they were definitely on death scars. Prepare for the jump scare of a lifetime. Well, it made me jump so badly that my trike was cloud watching. As I learned from a previous encounter with Deinosuchus, I wasn't going for the face tank. I tried my best to maneuver around them. Eventually the health I saved from not face tanking paid off. Look, old impact crater. Another lesson learned here, you can't use precise movement whilst sharpening horns. Also, the charge itself doesn't hurt, it seems. You have to use the horn attack at the end. Walking backwards while using precise turn is a lot better than just turning in place. After pretty much walking after this cark around half a crater, we both decided it wasn't worth it. You'll notice probably in the next video that I start to use this emote instead of the 3-call a lot more because, let's be honest, it sounds way more menacing. Another example of why you must be on your toes at all times when you're solo. Again, I used sharpened horns way too late. And I don't even know why, since I could see the titans coming my way. A big fumble at the beginning, and even that can cost me the fight. Charging there was also a really bad decision, since it left me way out into the open. And as you know by now, the trike's turning radius leaves a lot to be desired. It annoys me looking back on this because why didn't I precise move here? That's 2 free bites for the other titan. A fight which I could have won if I'd had it together more, but oh well. Learning from fights like the last one, I was way more prepared here. I have no idea how that Cark's charge bite even missed there. I think they turned just before the bite, which made it miss by like a pixel. pressed the wrong button there as I tried to shield, but I was facing away from the attack. That, however, was a successful block. These two were pretty heavily damaged, but they weren't giving up. Eventually they passed a little too closely and I took my chance. This fight was very testing. Again, I prepared ahead of time as these two PT Gigas approached. That charge probably wasn't the best decision, but it did give me some space to activate my vocal ability, Stampede. I'm sorry, but that Giga's first bite hit me from a different zip code. Keeping something at your back, especially in a 2v1, is almost crucial with Trike. One Giga was near death scars, but it's no time to get comfy. One mistake is all it'll take to tip the scale. That charge was extremely risky on my part, but now both Gigas have taken heavy damage. Although, so have I. This part also proves how important sound is in the game. Ironic because I'm talking over it, but I could hear where the other Giga was, which was crucial. torn up, battered and broken, but not in spirit, a wave of relief washed over me as the Gigas decided to retreat. A very close fight for all of us. This Deinosuchus seemed a bit trigger happy on the lunge. They even followed me onto land, which was odd, so I showed them the way back to the water. The night is abundant with nightmarish carnivores ready to sink their teeth in. Or in this case, their claws. These two Maip were out for blood. It's clear that I need my back against something to deal with these guys, but I was out in the open. This critter burrow would have to do for now. There was a wee bit of lag going on there. Fortunately, the hide I usually use gives me 30% better bleed heal, and although the bleed from these guys is still enough for me to keep an eye on, without that hide, it would be way worse to deal with. I decided to follow the Maip over to this rocky outcrop. It would provide way better cover. They decided not to continue, but they did a number on me. One of them was Bibster too, so shout out to them. I had been keeping an eye on this Giga who had been following for a while. Like I was when I started playing Trike, my guess is they were probably just testing the waters with Giga. Confidence is never a bad thing. However, it can spill over into cockiness, which can get you killed. A lesson I quickly learned from this fight. I should have backed off here, but I wasn't prepared to swallow my pride. After a shouting match, I did the one thing that ultimately led to my downfall. I got too close. A change of scenery, and a new opponent. This pack of Daspletosaurus was about to prove that I was about to throw most of what I learned out the window, when I charged out into the open. While yes, 1 or 2 hits from me with sharpened horns would cause major damage, their heavy bites were also doing a number on me, and there were 3 of them. I managed to catch one of the Das with a final hit on the tail though, which proved to be fatal. There were 2 Tyrannotitans circling me, possibly preparing for a pincer attack. I learned after that these guys were only sub-adults, but they wanted to try their best regardless, so fair play to them. They got me down horse, so they did well. I was still healing from that fight when a PT Rex emerged. I always perform some invisible tests to find out if something wants to hunt me, one of which is as simple as walking in a certain direction and seeing if they follow. The Rex followed. I was sure that I was going to lose this due to my health and it being a Rex, but I'm not going down without a fight. It was only when I looked back after I charged away that I saw the Rex had actually died. I was as surprised as anyone, but a win is a win. Now we're back in modern GP. Since I forgot to hit record, the beginning of this fight is from replay mode. As you can see, there are 2 Tyrannotitans stalking the area, and it wasn't long before they selected their target. Me. That Great Titan is getting some wild hits on me. The other Titan was actually very nearly dead at this time. And here is where I remembered to hit record. It seems the Titans were in this till death. I moved up on this rock for a better advantage. They would have to face me head on now, and I know one of them hasn't got the health to do so. Titan's Flesh Graze isn't as good as DB Gigas, so it wouldn't out-heal the damage that I just did. Trying to mesh, are we? Naughty naughty. Although, to be honest, I think they were just biting the air to try and distract me. This became a game of he who dares wins. Out in the open would be a hugely bad idea for me, so I started edging my way back to where I was before. Then one Titan got a boost of confidence, which indirectly led to their teammates' downfall. Then it was my turn to make a mistake, sleeping in front of a hungry Rex. But I was fine with it. I just won a pretty big fight. When you're in a noisy hotspot, it's good to have a keen eye. These two PT Gigas were creeping up. You might want to move away from here, Sarko. With sharpened horns and stampede active, I became a powerhouse. If you're well prepared as a trike, you have little to fear. This next fight was a bit of a mess. I'd only logged on for about 10 seconds when a Carcharodontosaurus Pair noticed and thought I looked satisfactory as the next meal. Safe to say the fight went awfully and I was pretty frustrated. The owner of the server was one of the Carcs and he felt really bad, so he regrew my trike for me. So it ended well. Thanks, George. This cute little Tyrannosaurus had taken a shine to me, and whilst I couldn't herd with them, I was happy to hang out. However, two hulking shadows came charging in from the distance. A pair of Spearcrests. I hadn't faced these unusual beasts before, so this would be interesting. I couldn't protect the baby as we weren't grouped, but it was clear the Spearcrests were interested in the bigger prize. I wasn't aware of what this Spearcrest was doing until it was too late. That ability is called Mjolnir, and it usually heavily damages or even kills anything it strikes. With 75% of my health gone in one hit, this fight was already looking grim for me. I wasn't falling for that again. With their trump cards used up, the Spearcrest retreated. It seems I must have dealt enough damage after all. The rule, don't trust anyone, is not to be taken lightly. I thought this Spino was up to something, so I activated Stampede. Turns out I was right, so I quickly taught them a lesson. It's funny that I literally only noticed these two DB Gigas when one of them growled. They noticed me, however, so I prepared accordingly. This was also the fight that made me change my build to sturdy instead of using the stomp or block abilities. This one wanted to try one last time to get a few hits in, but I think their partner was telling them to retreat. If you've made it this far in the video, then thank you for watching. There will be more videos to come when I can get round to editing them all. As you know, it takes a lot of time, so thank you for your patience. And this will probably be my last video of the year, so have a Merry Christmas, guys. And if you don't celebrate Christmas, then happy holidays. And I'll see you in 2026. Be good people, and take care.